Hello farmers, it's River here. It's been a while since I made a video. It's actually kind of been a while since I played Farm Sim in general. Played some other games. I'll probably always play games, I hope. And so anyway, here I am back again on Oakfield Farm. And it's the season mod. And this is the seasons mod is probably the reason I'm playing it all. I played a little bit over the past couple weeks, just enough to get kind of familiar with it. And as I was playing, I started missing recording, and I've actually missed recording a few other times. But this is a beautiful map. If you haven't played it, there's probably a good chance you're watching this because you have played it. Maybe you're a past fan. I'm going to try to keep these videos to under a half hour, mostly because I'm going to upload them to a website called minds.com. It's supposed to be a new social website where they don't filter out content. That was the reason I stopped recording on YouTube, and I'm just going to give that a shot. I might be the first person to put up a farm sim video as far as I can see, but that's my intention. So I should note the time up there in the upper right hand corner. You can see it's 4:30 here. And what I've done is I went in and I sold every bit of equipment that came with it. And I gave myself $2.5 million, which should be a good start for us. I know that it sounds like a lot. I sold what we had, it was $1 million. So in some senses, I guess you could say I gave myself $1.5 million. And I don't know, the first year anyway, I haven't played seasons a lot, but I played most of 1 year, or at least enough of a year to tell what was going to happen and get a gist of it. You know, the first year is kind of slow, so I kind of want to speed up the first year by purchasing a few fields. Matter of fact, these are two of the fields I'd like to purchase. This one over there is 2, this one's 15. I'll show you on the map here. So there is 15, you can see we're right here. And there's 2. We already own 13 and this 34, so I think we should buy 15, 2, and 12. They're each decent sized fields. They're not one of these massive ones. But once we get all established, maybe we can think about a massive one. That's a lot of field. I mean, this map is pretty huge compared to a lot of maps. I guess it's at least a 4x map, I think. So these fields don't look that big, but on the map. But if you look, even that's a couple hours work just to get that one plowed, you know. So what I thought we would do is talk a little bit about the strategy. I want to get all the animals. Let's go over to the garage before I get into too much animals. And one of the things we're going to do is cut grass. So I don't really have much of a train of thought here, do I? These fields, this 12 is not grass. I don't want to switch this over to grass. 9 is not actually planted. It kind of looks like it is, but at least it was, it's not a planted field. So we'll plant some grass in 9. There's already grass in 10. And I think we'll make 2 a grass field. So that way this will give us plenty of grass. We can always change them over, but we'll need grass and hay and silage for the cows. I think we're going to start out just with sheep. Now there's issues with grass, but we can feed the sheep hay. And let's go down, oops. I'm using the mouse and keyboard. Let me grab my controller. All right, there we go. Now I can run faster. So at any event, what we have down here, I just want to, this is one of the reasons for the extra money. It's not that much, $42,000. This is a quote construction site, and it's just a flat area. Let's go ahead and buy it, and then we'll go in, let's get a little closer and buy it. So they treat it like a field, but it's just, you'll see, it's a flat area, which is really nice. It's kind of a good idea. So we'll buy it. Over here, I hit the B. I think it's right mouse or whatever. You got to hold until it gets all the way open. So there we go. We got a nice flat area. And what I want to do in here right off the bat, this is all part of the, why I got the extra money, is get a couple placeables. These are mods. They are available right from the mod download from the Farm Sim in-game. I'm sure you might be able to get them other places. I know some people. So there we got this wool storage. And spin this guy around. And I've already figured out where I want him. This is what I did. Feels pretty good, tucked right over, kind of in this corner here. Get him over there. A little weeds might stick out a bit, but that's all right. So there we go. So we got a wool storage facility. Keep using the mouse and keyboard. You can tell I'm rusty. So there we go. So we could put 110 wool storage bales. Since if you're not familiar with the seasons mod, it does have times of the year that it's better to sell certain things compared to others. Now we have one more placeable. So in other words, storing the wool for a period of time will be very beneficial. All right, so we'll do another placeable. And this one, we want the round bale storage here. And again, I need to spin it around. And this thing's pretty cool. The one thing I didn't test on my little test map, oops, too far. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? There we go. All right, so one of the things I didn't test on the test map was, can I store grass bales in here? And in this game, if you just make grass bales, they just disappear. But I'm wondering if there's, a little bit of a cheat to put them in this thing and have grass bales. It is a cheat. I understand why they make the grass bales disappear. I mean, grass is wet, it gets moldy and just ruins. I've worked on a farm, and one of the big things you have to do when you make hay is make sure it's good and dried out. Really, a grass bale is nothing but a wet hay bale, ultimately. And I don't know anybody in the world that actually would bale grass. I mean, again, it's hay. You dry it out, and then it stays. It doesn't get all moldy. Having said that, at the same time, in real life, if you have a big, beautiful grass field behind your sheep, like we do here, you're hardly in a big need for, they just eat the grass. You don't feed them anything all summer long. I mean, you might give some animals oats or some other supplements, but anyway. This is a water source for people who are wondering. So any of these blue hoses, you'll see them around. And a lot of people, myself included, actually put in a seed feeder or a seed, one of the portable, placeable seed things. This is where you get seeds. I was thinking you could get seeds over there, but you can't. This is the fuel with the shell thing there, which is a little bit, it doesn't really look much like a fuel tank. I mean, it is a tank. I'm sure you could get fuel out of it, but if you didn't notice the shell cans there, you might just drive right past that like I did 47 times before I realized I could It was only because I had the menu up there that I even noticed that there was a refuel thing popping up. And this, to me, I thought this was seeds, and this obviously looks like a thing, but doesn't it look like there's two different, with the way those, caution markers are? It looks like there's two different areas. Then you have all the seeds in here. So I'm looking all around. You can't really get the big thing in here. I'm trying to jam that thing in there, like get it back in here far enough, which really, really wasn't going very well. Anyway, seeds are over there. There's another water hose back over here. You got plenty of sheds. If we don't put our stuff away, then they're going to degrade. In addition, if we don't wash them, they're going to degrade. So on that note, we'll get our final placeable for now. I don't really plan on any others after this. Ooh. And we want to put, I think that's just a wonderful place for the washer. Kind of out of the way. There it is. It's kind of out of the way. I don't think we're going to hit it. Those things are right there protecting it. And I think any piece of equipment we have is going to tend to come through here or be close to here at different times. So here we go. So now to get to the fields, I'm trying to hurry this a little bit just so I don't go over my recording. I think I'm probably already 8 minutes or something into it, 10 minutes. And you guys can tell better than me because you can see the time on the video. All right, so what I want to do, I have the Bank of Hagenstadt. If you guys have never used that, it allows you to get bigger loans, which is really nice. I think it's a little bit more realistic than the 5,000 at a time thing that the farm sim has. One of the things to watch out for is that this interest rate, if you start like borrowing over a certain amount, it starts really hitting you for a high interest rate, and you can make it darn near impossible to pay back. But as you can see, we don't have any loans. I did forgive myself the $75,000 normal loan. And even if I never use this again, even if we just decide to go on money, I love this field management thing because it tells you the size of the field. Now that's from a file, but at the same time, you know, it gives you a good idea. I mean, you can look at which field you're dealing with. You know, in a couple seconds here, we can buy and sell them. So that's the other nice thing too. Right through here, you can boom, sell them. So what did we talk about? We talked about buying field 2, 6. I don't know, I'm just going to call it acres. How's that sound, guys? I know it's not an acre, but it's all pretend land anyway. And I'm American, and I think it's a hectare. I don't know, hectacre, whatever. All right, there we go. So let's buy 2. We're going to also buy 15. Oops. 15 and 12. Oops, don't click there, click there. So there we go. So now we have 2 grass fields, 1, 2, plus 34, and then we'll plow out 15. We're going to plow them all because they need plowing, you know, just as part of getting a better yield. But we're going to plow 15 as to be a new field. And 2 is going to remain a grass field. So we'll probably get out there and fertilize it or something. And we have to also plant grass in 9. So what I want to do here first is get out there and get 9 plow. I might as well plow it since I'm plowing everything else, and then get it seeded. So there we go. All right, so let me go to, I'm not running all the way up to the store. My realism is not necessary. At times I've done everything the hard way, hard mode, start with almost nothing. This series is just not going to be about that. This is going to be about exploring the seasons mod and how it makes changes. I think it's kind of fun. So we'll see what happens. So what are we going to need? We are going to need a tractor. And placeables. We don't want placeables. Back. We are going to need a tractor. Thought I selected that. And the plow I know I want, it wants like 300 horsepower tractor. We've got some massive hills. This was one of the tractors that came with it, you know, a smaller one. This would be a nice tractor with a front end loader. But I think we're going to go with a telehandler rather than a small tractor with the loader. We'll just have one tractor. I'll do a bit of course play, probably on some of the harvesting. For the most part, I'm going to play it all out myself. The other tractor they were giving us wasn't a Deutz-Fahr. What the heck was it? A Steyr? It might have been this one. Well, whatever. We want to get something that's around close to 400 horsepower. And since we are in England, what I was thinking of is if we get this guy, I like to get wheel weights. If you ever worked on a farm, you know the beauty of wheel weights. They can really make a big difference in getting around. I mean, tears up the ground some more, but at the same time, it's so does it when you lose traction. Those big rubber paddle wheels, they'll dig you in a heartbeat. So having that extra weight really helps. And I think if I remember right, yep, we have 2 different options. So we're going to take this guy right up to 400. One of the reasons I'm doing it this way and not getting a bigger tractor that's close to 400 is this is a pretty tight map at spot. So this is not a small machine by any normal standard. But at the same time, it will fit around this map and it'll have the extra horsepower. I hope that makes a difference. So there we go. Already a big expense. And there we go. So the other thing that we want, 2 things. We want to plow, but I also want to get a weight. I'll get a 1,000-pound weight. I think that's a nice size for this tractor, and the implements we'll probably be using. And then we need a plow. Now I'm going to do, it's really not a plow by the way we call it, but it performs that function in Farm Sim, is this Jimpa. It's another mod. This is a mod, as you can see, that you can get from the Farm Sim website, whatever the heck they call that, Farm Hub. Anyway, this one is about 5 meters. Actually, matter of fact, when I set it up in the GPS, I use 5, not 4.8, and it seems to work fine. This one is just too big for this map. You will get stuck on too much stuff even that 1 meter bigger there, it's enough to make it so that it's really almost unusable on this map. I mean, I guess you could cut through every hedgerow. You might get your way there, but you get stuck on the normal roads, the tight points. So we'll go with this one, which is, you know, asking for 225 horsepower. But trust me, going up some of these hills, it will struggle a bit. So, all right, so let's select that. And we'll buy that. And yes. Okay. And let's go back one more time. Now, we're not going to pick this up just yet, but we will need to get a, not fertilizer, well, we will get some kind of fertilizer spreader. And where is it? I thought it was right here. Oh, sewing machine. Yeah. All right, so we need to get a sewing machine. Now, the one that came with it was actually this Horst. And that's really not a bad machine. Well, not this Horst. This one. Fertilized seed. But I also really like the rapid seed because you can cultivate and plant the seeds at the same time, you know? So I guess we have to decide here, don't we? Well, no, we don't. Why don't we decide next time? But it's going to be something pretty big. The difference in price is not that much on these in general. This one does... Yeah, see, this one's awful nice. Let's just buy that one. It's a big one, but it does everything we want it to. And that'll get us seeding pretty here shortly here. All right, so let's, what else do we need? No, that's enough to get the grass going. So we'll buy equipment as we need it. You can see now we only have 1,600,000, so we've spent close to 900,000 doing that. Let's jump up to here. Turn this guy on with the enter key. Hopefully the sound works out. Like I said, I haven't recorded much. When I did a little test recording, things were okay, but you know, sometimes it seems okay, and then when I get to actually in the game and doing things. So there's our, what's it called, Jimpa? But it's, you know, it's in some ways it's no different than the big plows, but it's just so much easier to maneuver. Oh yeah, this is another problem. They messed this map up, and the problem with it is that all of the cars are on the wrong side of the road. So until they fix that bug, I am going to turn this traffic off. Sound fair? Also, if the, you know, whoever made the map is looking, they put all those street signs on the wrong side of the road. You see that? Like that. Normally in America, they put all the signs on the other side. See, these signs should be backwards, like not backwards, opposite sides. So I don't really understand that. Their circles go the wrong way. See, you don't go that way. You go, oops, geez, the signs. You go right around a circle, because that would just confuse everybody if you had to go left around the circle. Ha ha ha. Yeah, Britain, you're driving on the wrong side of the road. But anyway, now the traffic, I don't know. I'm a traffic turner offer. The traffic's too stupid. It just frustrates you at times, and I don't know. To me, it doesn't add that much more realism because it breaks the reality as soon as you go to, you know, consider, that it's just such stupid traffic. Nobody drives 30 miles per hour except for old ladies and stuff, you know. Like, so, but the traffic on this map was a little bit quicker, I noticed, even if they were on the wrong side of the road. Yeah, that's half the time. I mean, there's this one main stretch here, but all the rest of the roads are just one straight shot. So we'll get this guy up to field 9. Now, one of the other things is I think there's a way into field 9, but it's really better, or not better, but easier to cut through the cow or the sheep pasture. And this little road here is a very nice little, right by the sawmill, which I don't plan on using very much. So we'll get up, we'll get this started, and I'll probably call that an episode. Again, I used to make longer episodes. I'll feel like they're too short. Oh, yeah, gates. You know, I love the idea of these gates. They're wonderful. But I find that we will open them up and never close them. I guess when I get animals, I might. It's only when I have animals that I feel slight compulsion to close gates. And even then, I'm usually able to overcome it because the animals don't get out. Like, if you want me to close the animal gates, then you need to add a animals get out dynamic. Same thing with like hedgerows and fences. Oops, I really didn't mean to get back in there. You know, if you have hedgerows and fences and you don't want me to just go through them, you need to make them collidable. So you may catch me once in a while, even during the recordings, cutting through a hedgerow. As unrealistic as that is, especially on this map, they seem to put a hedgerow between every field. All right, so we're heading up here. We probably could have... Ooh, that was close. These things do tend to have collisions. We just made that through like a champ, you know? See? Yeah, see, that time I didn't make it. Worst thing is I killed my momentum. So right straight ahead of us is field 10. We'll just cut through there. It's not winter time. It's the first day of spring, but nothing's growing, so we won't hurt the grass anyway. No, I don't even know if I have crop destruction on. I do want to turn that on. There we go. Like I said, until we get cows, that field's going to stay just like it is. So even though we probably will never plow this field again, I will plow it this time. And I think I'll come over to here. Yeah, the field is kind of square. I think I'll set it up from this point. Whoa, close. When I say set it up, I mean good old GPS. Let's turn this guy a little bit. Is that too much? No, that's actually pretty good, isn't it? I don't want to go any closer. Seems like we're about the same distance off that fence. I mean, I'll go closer. Oops. Okay. That's pretty good. All right, and away I go. So I will get this field probably plowed and maybe number 12. Do a bunch of plowing. Maybe I might even just do it all before I come back to recording again. We'll see. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Genius that I am. Hey, what I did forget to do is change the width. Move that back over a little bit more. Oops. That way. Alright, well, as I was saying, let me do a lot of plowing, and when I get done, maybe we'll just get all the fields plowed that we own. I think I'll show you the setup of field 15, and that might be in the next episode, so let me come back one way or the other when I get a bunch of plowing done. Okay, back again. If you look at the time, it's probably been a good 4 hours. It was what, like 6:40 when the game started. The last bit was, I don't know, I didn't look exactly, 20 minutes, a half hour. You know, so it was probably a little after 7 when I left you. Now it's 11 in game. See, it's actually 4 o'clock in the morning. It's snowing outside, so I have to get ready to go plowing snow. And in any event, I've gotten a lot of our plowing done. Oops, not game settings. Should have set this all up. So if we take a look, you can see that these fields, 34 is plowed, 9 is plowed, 12 is plowed, and 13 is plowed. So this one's not showing because we don't have the grass turned on, I think. There you go. We'll turn harvested off, and there you go. So there's the grass. It's not cultivated. It is growing. We can turn that off, I think. Nah. Yeah, it's not plowed. So in any event, we want to turn 15 into a regular field, arable crops. That way we'll have 4 different arable crop fields. That should give us plenty to get started. It's just a matter of size after that. So let's hop in the tractor. I'll show you what I've been doing. In this case, I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to see the green and darker green. So a lot of times what I'll do, if I can't tell, like sometimes in the summertime on this map when I was playing before, you couldn't really see this, but if we put down V, we could just zoom out a little bit. You can just drive around the field and see where the field edge is. It's pretty obvious here. I don't know how much it matters. And one of the things I like to do, especially with this tractor, is let's get this lifted and get my GPS set up as best we can. Not that it doesn't, we want it to be north-south here. So let's turn it back on. Looks like it's pretty close to perpendicular. Let's turn it 90 degrees. Yeah, it's really not bad. I don't see any real problem with that. I don't think it's going to make too much difference. It's not like this field's particularly square or anything like that. So I like it. Keep this on, just kind of gives me a little bit of a gauge. And then I will turn this on for 1 second. I like to tend to see how this line's kind of wavy. And the stupid trees right in our way too. Let's pull up past that. We can even turn it 90 degrees while we're down here just to get an idea what straight is compared to the rest of the field. And because this is so bent, it's not really worth it. But what I would like to do is see that jut in up ahead. I'm not sure how well you can see, but say this is where we'll start, and I'll turn create fields on, and this is where this plow really comes into its own. So we got create fields on Y, and I'm just going to run around and see. I kind of messed up there. I want to keep it where we're plowing everything, maybe overhang like a foot at times and then more at others. Part of the problem is when you turn, you sort of see how this part right ahead sort of juts back out. I don't really sort of like to maximize things anyway. It's not like having a grass hedgerow is really that much benefit to you. A little bit convenient at times when this will just, as we go all the way around the field, this will just smooth things out nicely. All right, so now as I do this, I'm going to try to talk about the Seasons mod and then wrap up the video, and then I'll just finish this in between the episodes. And again, the talking and doing this at the same time. So this is just sort of, in my opinion, really could even swing that wider. I don't want to get too close to the trees. But so with the Seasons mod, I guess I don't want to say nervous about it, but certainly all excited, I guess, as far as, well, what do I got to do, and worried about it. What I found is you really have more time, especially if you're playing on 1-time speed and 9 days. You just have a lot of time. Each of the crops only grows at the change of the season. And by that, it's not necessarily spring, but right now it's early spring. So when it changes from early spring to middle spring, I'm not sure what it's called in the middle, just regular spring, there's 3 sections to each. Here, let's stop for a second. All right, if you hit Alt S, you get the seasons map. See these little dividing lines? Like this is early spring. Again, I'll call it middle spring and late spring. So nothing's going to happen with the crop growth until you get to this line. So there's 3 things. That's why it's like multiples of 3. So if you pick 3 days, or I'm sorry, 3-day seasons, then you get 1, 2, 3. It's because we picked 9. It's, each one of these is 3 days. So we really have 3 days to get all this stuff done. And if you're playing on 1-time speed, then you can always switch that back and forth. What we're going to end up doing probably is like fast forwarding a day or two because we need to get the temperature. See how these are all blue? Except for grass, which is why we're going to go get that grass planted, but as long as we do it in the next couple days. Now, there's a good chance during these days the temperature of the ground, which is up there, control, is up there in this corner. See, it's only 39, but there's a good chance that this will increase. And let's see. I'm forgetting. Let's hop out for a second. I'm forgetting how to get my weather up there. Sometimes they tell you. Get in here. Keep going. Does that make sense? You can get the weather forecast up there. I'm just forgetting how to do it. Like I said, I'm really not that familiar with seasons. See, things like this. I know those weeds are going to be stuck up, and you can go to Giants Editor and get those out of there if you... those will be stuck up in our crops, but to me there's no reason not to square that off a little bit. So in any event, really not a huge hurry as far as getting all this stuff done. It's a lot of work. You can see I spent going on 5 hours now working on this. But there you go. So not sure what else to say about it other than we'll finish getting these plowed, and then I'll come back with the next episode. We'll plant the grass and talk about our next strategy. But when it comes to the seasons mod, it's a big change. There's no doubt about that. But don't be intimidated by it. If anything, you have to be a little more strategic, slightly. And I don't think there's a lot of strategy to farm sim to begin with. So when you have to be more strategic, you're not exactly talking, Civ 5 strategies or anything. I'm sorry. See, this is the problem with trying to do something while you're talking. Mess it all up. Yeah, see this right here, a lot of times I'll spin that around. Yeah, so we'll try to square that up a bit. This whole line. Maybe it'll just kind of go straight down there the whole way. But yeah, it's, you got to be a little more strategic, and you only kind of get, from what I've gathered, one crop in as far as the corn and all goes. But the grass you can cut multiple times because it doesn't, it takes like 2 cycles to go fully grown. 1 cycle and it's back to where you can cut it again. So you can get multiple grass cuttings in. So that's why I want to make sure the grass gets planted, maybe even today. That'll be the next thing. And then before you know it, we'll have some grass, and really once the one grass harvest comes in, we're going to have enough to get started on some animals. We won't have everything we need, but because when the game starts, you do start with some crops in your silo, we probably would have close to enough to get most things started. But at first we might just ramp it up, sheep and then cows and then pigs. But in the meantime, before any of that even comes close to happening, we will get some potatoes planted in one of these fields. And that did lead me to a thought. We need a little field for potatoes. So I'm wondering if we shouldn't just plant potatoes in field 10 or 9. We don't need a lot of potatoes because you get a lot per acre. We'll see. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap up this episode. Hopefully it all goes well. Hopefully the sound is good. And if there's anything wrong with it, let me know in the comments. And, I'm sure I will be working on the improvement of the whole thing. So So now what I'd like to do, turn this back off. I'm saying goodbye. Second too soon. Is I'll just go around and do another hedgerow. Headland. Sorry, hedgerow. So I'll just go around, and that just gives you plenty of room when it comes to maneuvering and turning around for each of the swaths. Well, there we go. Well, it's been fun to do a video, even though most of it was the plowing and watching videos. And hope you guys don't mind the new format of jumping from, you know, jump cutting. I used to try to record all that stuff, but I want to try to keep the videos a little bit smaller, just for hard disk space sense. And again, the copyright strikes with the music. I'm going to try to work that out, but not sure how much the music was important. But I hope you enjoyed the video, like I've said, and have a good day. Take care, guys.